Hi guys, and I hope everyone is well. Welcome to Super Sunday here on the APAT Show. Unfortunately, we've lost John Young. He's had to drop out through no fault of his own. We've got a super replacement in Asa McGrath. We're going to be talking the roller, squads, and dare I say it, football right after this. Lee, we've lost John Young, but we do have the very beautiful Asa back with us for what must be the fourth or maybe fifth time.
I feel like, yeah, he must be getting close to some sort of carriage clock sort of engraved for times he's been on the show. But anyway, we very much appreciate Asa stepping in at the last minute for us. So warm welcome to you, Asa. How are you doing?
Good evening. I'm very well, thank you. How are you both?
Yeah, well, good, thank you.
Can't complain. It's Sunday night, another 3 points in the bag, as I like to say on a Sunday night. I don't think I've ever done the APAT show, literally with a Liverpool game having finished 20 minutes before, and I'm on somewhat of a football high, I might add. So if I get a little bit giggly tonight, apologies in advance.
That's all right. What was the record? So how many in a row unbeaten now?
It was 63. So we've
64.
nailed that. Was it 64? So we've nailed that. We've gone beyond that now. We equaled that in the last home game. So 64 games unbeaten at Anfield consecutively, held by the great Liverpool team from the late 70s. That's unbelievable in this day and age to be able to break that record. It's quite something.
Absolutely. Did you know that the late 70s were actually 85 games unbeaten in all competitions at home?
Wow.
It's not a bad start, is it?
That's just fucked up my monologue, I have to say. I have to go back and find another record to refer to now. So what, is that a league record, Asa?
No, as in European Cups, everything. Literally over
so
that entire season.
So that team went effectively that's pretty much 2 seasons unbeaten at home?
Yeah.
Got to be, isn't it? 80 odd games? Got to be.
They were an incredible team. I mean, I was a fan since I would say the mid 70s. One of the questions that I ask myself from time to time, how and when did you become a Liverpool fan? It goes that far back that I can't quite remember, but as a massively passionate sort of fan back then, equally as much as I am today. But I saw Liverpool for the first time in 1980, and Ray Clemence was in goal, and it was his final season. And of course, Ray was, given some respect before the game this evening as he died earlier in the week. It's his our first home game since he died. So that was incredibly sad. But that was an insanely strong team, and to beat a record that they set, was quite something. But hey, listen. It's far too early in the evening to talk about football. Poker will be our main focus, I think, tonight. So, Lee, give us a breakdown. What do we have on tonight? What are the guys playing for?
Okay, so it's Sunday night, Sunday roller. We're down to 8 players. We've just gone to 8, so I think that means
I'll get that
have
up.
Our final table up now. So we'll get that up on the screen as soon as we possibly can. With, for the first time, our new APAT graphics.
That's just Jesus Christ. I mean, look at that, Lee. Look at that.
How smart does that look?
Did we tell Party Poker that we discontinued trophies after season 2?
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to,
we need to switch that to a medal or something.
I love that it's the camera and everything in there, and I quite like it's pretty cool. So so this final table, we just hit the final table. We're actually paying the top 7 in this tonight. They're just shy of $1,500 in the prize pool. It's $500 plus up top. Just missing out on the final table. A young chap new to the game, Brendan Byrne. Des, I don't know whether you've heard of him.
Really, again.
He finished 10th, so he just missed out on the final table. But again, he runs so deep in this tournament every Sunday night. But a few names that we might recognise on there. There's a Stuart Ward is on the final table. Tony Griffiths is there. Yanni is on the final table. Ilfracombe's finest, and Rob Swindell's as well. So that's going to be an interesting one to watch. Obviously, we've got the culmination of game week 33 in the poker squads. 96 runners in that. That's paying top 12. So we'll keep an eye on that later on. Now, Des, you know what I say on a Sunday? Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to go late.
Always say it's going to go. Yeah. I think the MVP is probably already wrapped up for this week.
What?
I think.
Can we shut the stream down?
He can. I mean, he can be caught, but Donald Sloss for the hit squad, he had back-to-back wins earlier on in the week, won the mix max and then the six max. Absolutely superb performance. He was 104 points ahead of the next best player going into tonight's game. That doesn't say it's not a done deal by any stretch. There's still the likes of Phil Coles, Bode Hunt, Shug, maybe even Pete Wigglesworth possibly could catch Donald, but he's still in. And we've already lost over half the field. So I'm kind of...
He's earning points. Yeah.
Yeah, the MVP could be tied up. However, the team element, well, all to play for. Celtic Storm out in the lead. They've already lost 2 players tonight. Hit Squad have still got 3 in. ABCD have still got a couple in. The Wild Cards have still got 3 in. And these teams are all in with a shout if they can get a couple of players, very deep into the top. What do we always say? How many times have we gone down to final table and this player needs a first or a second to get their team top? We know it can go. So we'll keep an eye on that. But obviously, our main focus for the start of the night is going to be this final table of the Sunday Roller.
Fantastic. Thank you, Lee, for that. And who do we have with us? So just having a quick look in the chat box, we have Lou Brush, Jerry Duffy, my namesake from Scotland. Darren Hughes is there. Peter Wigglesworth. Yanni Kursu is there. Derek Lawman. Kevin Shutt, season 1 champ. Every time I see Kevin's name, got to say that. It's incredible. Robert Green is there. Tomo is there. Wigglesworth, Mr. Peter Sir said, bootiful. And I think he's talking about the table. And I think I might just stare at that table for a while tonight, I have to say. Lee Mason is with us as well. So if we haven't called out your name, guys, just drop a comment into the chat box and we will name check you. We don't get to see everybody, unfortunately, on launch, but that's who I see at the moment, Lee.
Yeah. I'm actually, I don't know why it's I think it's a Facebook thing, isn't it? It seems like I see less and less comments. And I know people are in there chatting away. That's for sure. But I don't quite know why, but I do seem to see less and less at the moment. But there's nothing we can do about that. We've already lost one, unfortunately. Johanny Brunet from Canada bust in 8th place, which does mean that the remaining 7 at this table now are all in the money.
In the money.
That's what it's all about. So the great thing with this new table, I don't know whether you know this, Des, but you don't just need to be playing on an APAT table if you fancy having the APAT branding on it.
I know, mate. I know. I'm thinking there's all sorts of APAT shows that we can do now on other tours using our branding. I like it.
I was sat playing a Caribbean party poker satellite yesterday. I think I still had the sort of that logo in the middle, but I had it all set up with the APAT branding around it. So it was
fantastic. Yeah.
Poured myself a cocktail and it was a way to go. Right. Quite happy. Yeah.
And I'm thinking with the camera there, I mean, I think it's probably James Roberts is behind the camera. You've got Mela sitting off to one side doing a commentary for ITV or something. That's how I'm seeing that at the moment. Because we certainly haven't had any flash cameras at any APAT events. I think James Roberts brought the most flash camera, and that's going back a while.
It is season 4 we're talking there, aren't we? So that's heading all the way back there. But hope the players enjoy. Like it anyway. It's a brilliant step forward, and hopefully the sign of more things to come with what we've got on party. So it's all good from that point of view. So. Asa, do you know much about these any of these guys other than the obvious couple on this final table? Just as Stu's all in with
Stu's racing,
and he needs to avoid the ace or the jack, and he's going to be safe.
No, I've not met any of the others, unfortunately, or played against them. No.
Well, we've got so I think I do recognise, and Des might recognise here. Charalumpus has definitely played on a table before with us. I'm pretty certain.
Well, he has. He certainly does have one of the great
night.
names. I mean, that name goes on forever.
But what you're seeing on the screen is not even the full thing.
I'm having a look at the lobby as well, and it's Charlampus Constantine. Well, I can't see the remainder of the constant, but it'll be Constantine or Konstantinos Chatzimanu. Something
very
like
good.
That.
Very good.
Great. Happy to see you play, my friend.
So that's a Greek player. We've also got Manuel Dupont is from Belgium. As Rob Swindles gets it all in with the 9s against Tony Griffiths' ace jack, and actually they both had a spade, and so the spades ended up playing anyway. So,
Manuel Dupont, I hope he does stick around. I'm here all week.
Dear, oh dear.
My goodness.
So Stu Ward's just said in the chat, might as well watch whilst I fold. Come on, Stu, you've got a bit more game than that. Frank is saying you're very low sound, Des. Apparently, you sound fine through my headphones, but I don't know whether that's.
I've just turned that up a little bit for Frank.
Yeah, and I don't know whether you'd already picked up. I'm not sure whether you said about Jamie Kern says I'm back, boys. As Tony's all in with 10s against Jan's ace 10, and a 10 on the flop is kind of
boom.
That's nice.
Well, it's true. It's true. Charlie's been taking a lot of the glory in recent weeks. I have to say, maybe Jamie's been away. Maybe that's it.
Quite possibly.
He's been on lockdown.
Double, yeah. So it's another player's bust. So down to 6 now. Guys are guaranteed $83 now at this point. So Asa, are you playing anything tonight? We didn't. Normally, it's the first question we ask. Is are you? So I guess are you playing? I'm assuming you're still in the squads.
I was in the squads until about 30 seconds ago.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
I had ace 10 on the small blind. Andy Kingdom raised the button. I shoved. He has ace king. Happens. I'm also playing just a small PLO Bounty Hunter Turbo, which I am a massive chip leader in. But it's only a very small one, so
nice. We'll put that right. Don't you worry.
They all count. That's for sure. Which the thing is, it's great. I mean, on Party, their daily legend stuff is really, really good, and obviously those buy-ins range from a couple of dollars right up to sort of $50 or $100, but some of the other just standard daily tournaments. But the bounty hunters seem to be super popular on Party.
Yeah, this is what $100 entry, $100 guarantee. There's 230 something, 221 runners. So
yeah, says a lot. Yeah,
it's pretty straightforward. It's not exactly a difficult game to play at this level. So
out of interest, Asa, obviously you play that game rather well, if you don't mind me saying so, and obviously you're a fairly experienced player at that. How does playing one of those at kind of that the sort of $1 buy-in, are the players in there just playing for fun to learn the game, or do you feel like that they all kind of know what they're doing? What sort of level do you see it at?
Well, they have say $1 and a $10 at the same time, and you generally see the exact same players in both of them. So, like for example, I do the same. I treat the $1 as to get all my aggression out and have a bit more fun. Whereas I play the $10 one a little bit more seriously, and obviously the aggression is the way to go going off tonight. No,
but do you think is it also is it the same players that are wanting because of the variant that it is? Is that what?
Yeah, I think so. The example I will give you is that we've just talked about Charlie. I won quite a few chips off Charlie in the squads game, and I got moved table instantly. And as soon as that happened, this tournament opened, and Charlie just happens to be sat on my table, and just having a chat about it. And yeah, it's people will use it. I don't think they'll use it to make money because you can't really make that much money on it. What's up top for this? It's not a lot. Yeah, $20. So I play it because it's a bit of fun. And I can't imagine.
Funnily enough, when Rob Young was on the I know I keep every week we seem to mention the orbit, but actually it's of course Des and I are kind of involved in that, and we therefore listen to a lot of the industry player, people talking about, games. And actually, one of the things Rob was commenting on was that the low stakes games, it's very difficult for players to actually make any long-term money as such out of them. It's difficult to turn a profit in those games.
It's like for example, with me, I don't care whether I win or lose at this level. Really don't. I play to get myself in situations where I have to actually think about it, or I play to, like I've said, to get a little bit of aggression out. So to me, it doesn't really matter. There's not going to be that many people who are going to be able to make a lot of money from this. If I win, say I win this, I get $20 to win it, and I'll probably get $20 for the bounties. Not a lot.
Yeah,
but
Stu's all in with ace 9 against the ace queen of Manuel, and queen on the flop. Turn was a 9, so Stu had some out, but didn't get it, so it's a double up for our player from Belgium. Stu said he was going to fold. That's what he said. I'm sure he said. Well, that was his words.
Well, to be fair to Stu, he's only got 2 cards, so he's probably struggling a little bit.
Yeah. So evening to Gunter in the chat. Hope you're well. Another player from Belgium.
Oh,
and crikey, all going off now. Stu's got ace 4, Tony's got the 9s, and Rob Swindles has woken up with the queens. And it's going to be more than a double up. We're going to lose Stu, unfortunately, in 6th place, and Rob is going to become chip leader. Wow, that one all happened pretty quick.
Must be nice.
And Stu's just put in our chat, oops. Yes.
Right spot to shove. Small blind wakes up with a big hand. Big blind wakes up with a bigger hand. Just the cooler. Nothing you can do about it. And Stu will be fully aware of that.
Yeah, there's not a huge amount you can do with that. It's all right, Stu. We should have got Stu on the show now as well. We'll get him in as a second guest. All right, now you bust that, Stu. Yeah. Stu picks up $83, so not bad for his.
I just want to give a shout out, obviously, to Donald. Obviously, Donald's had an amazing week in MVP. You look at the top 2 of the deep stack, are the top 2 of the MVP. Phil's chip leader, Donald's second.
Yeah. And unfortunately for Phil, as he said in when I posted up on Facebook earlier on, he said, I'm trying my best to catch him. Whilst Donald's up there, you're not catching him. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen.
It's been a weird week because I told the guys last week that I would be able to play this week again. And there was I didn't want to take anyone's place, and I left it to the guys to decide what they wanted to do. And Phil was like, I've played so badly, I've had such poor results. I'm going to step out for a week. I went, yeah, no problem. Okay, I'll come in. And Phil's just gone on a massive heater this week.
He's gone a heater. That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
And to be fair, we've been railing him all week as well. So, we've had a bit of fun with him.
Is momentum underestimated in poker, Asa, or not?
I think if you have success, it gives you confidence. When you've got confidence, you tend to play better. I don't think momentum has that much to do with it. I think it purely is when you have success, whether it's right or wrong. If you get lucky or what, it doesn't matter. If you have success, you automatically will gain confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I found.
Yeah, I think you're right. Absolutely.
When it is in effect when you're on a heater, it isn't because the cards are going your way. It's because you're making better decisions.
Yeah.
The cards help.
You can get into a rhythm with it as well, can't you? I've found that in tournaments. You do just get into this rhythm of right. Yeah, that's fine. This is the right spot for me to raise. This is the right spot for me to let that hand go and not hang on to something or overplay something. You shouldn't be overplaying in that position. You do get this kind of rhythm and a feeling going for it.
Yeah, definitely. And you tend to become a bit more. From speaking from experience, my own experience is you tend to play more automatically. You actually do the actions less, without thinking about them more. If there's a spot on your table, and it's a perfect spot for a 3-bet. You make the 3-bet without really thinking about it. It just becomes, to me anyway, it becomes an automatic process.
Yeah, no, completely. And I think that's How many times do you hear players that say, "Oh well, my gut instinct was I should have done this, and then I talked myself out of it"?
Oh, absolutely. I've done. I'm a great believer in my own gut instinct, and there's times where I've talked myself out of spots, which, with hindsight, I would have. Edinburgh 3-handed is the one for me that will always stick in my mind, where I folded top pair on the flop. Never would again, but it was just I had this my initial instinct when the other guy went all in was to snap call him, and then I thought about it. Happens.
As you say with these things, you've got to have to let these. I saw Tom Clark post up during the week. He folded kings for the first time ever.
I saw that.
And was right. Yeah.
Against aces. Yeah.
Yeah.
And against 9-4 of diamonds.
Yeah. We overlook that one, don't we? Yeah. So.
Yeah. The guy with the 9-4 of diamonds was doing that all night, so it wasn't anything different from how we played.
The strangest thing today is I was doing the exits earlier on before we came on the show, and I think I got about 30 or so exits in, 30, 35, something like that, and half of those players were playing for the first time in squads tonight.
Wow,
which is quite incredible on a Sunday night. But we seem to have attracted some new players into the APAT games this week.
Awesome. I think it is half of it is lockdown as well. I will be honest. It's not. I know it's not the same as the last lockdown, but people are starting to get a bit antsy about doing things. And...
Well, what's weird, Asa, is I think it is the same really in the way of kind of what's allowed and what isn't allowed. But I do think that they're just businesses are a bit more switched on to it now, and people are also being a little bit more flexible about what they choose to do. I think first time round, everyone was a little bit like, "Oh, crikey, we've got to, this is what we've got to do." Now it feels like people are a bit more prepared, as it's ace queen versus ace queen, so that gets chopped. And and it feels like people are just a bit more flexible or just more aware of what's going on now. So rather than it being just, the streets certainly aren't as empty as they were first time round. That's for sure.
And as I think I've said it before, I live in Salford, and most of them don't pay any attention. So.
You were saying that at the first lockdown, if I remember rightly.
Literally go to say a local corner shop just to pick something up, and they don't wear masks. The people coming in the shop don't wear masks. It's around there it's pretty standard. Even going, there's the local big supermarket to me, and they do get told when they go in, but anywhere near there, no one's wearing masks.
Wow.
Shock horror. Salford's still one of the highest, even though it's on the way down again. It's one of the highest areas.
See, that's strange, because I would have thought at this point people are just totally comfortable around them. It's no biggie now.
No.
You just whip it out, put it on as you're going into a shop. I mean, that's the law, right? And take it off when you come out. You're in clear air, no issues, and you always have one. But it's like, we're so much more accustomed to doing that today than we were 8 months ago, which I think just led to lockdown being quite a bit bigger and more dramatic, as it were. Whereas I think now it's just part of everyday life, as it were, because we're very adaptable.
I must admit, Friday, we went shopping on Friday, sort of 9:00 at night, so it's always pretty quiet. And actually, the thing that stood out there was this couple with two kids, and none of them wearing masks, doing the shop and just wandering up and down the aisles, and they stood out as being kind of, that's a strange thing to see now, because pretty much everybody else in the entire store have all got a face mask.
It's no biggie, don't care. Just do it.
Yeah, it's very, very strange.
Oh no, they might both have had it, or they might both have had reasons why they don't have to wear them. The kids, I think a lot of kids don't wear them for whatever reason, but they don't.
Does having it mean?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
No,
it's all part of the education, right? You can obviously get it again. So I say that. I mean, I don't know if that's the case, but we believe it's the case. So but I think more people are generally comfortable around it today.
Yeah. So plenty of chatter going on in the chat box. So yeah, back on Stu's exit. Yeah, saying yeah, what a spot. Who wakes up with nines and queens? Yeah, well, unfortunately, yeah, those two did. Stu, for you, unfortunately. Gunther says, yeah, all good with him. Only sad that in Belgium they don't get the APAT theme.
I saw that, Lee. Put that on a list somewhere. We'll add that.
We'll
to
have
our
a look
list.
at that. So obviously, the guys in Belgium, they play on one of the sister sites to Party, all the same liquidity, but just it's a different brand that they enter or get to enter and play on. But we've got all the games available for them, but we'll have to see if we can do something about that. So Donald Sloss says, thanks very much for the stream, trying to keep my nose in front. Well, you're doing a very good job of it, to say the least. And Phil Coles has replied, yeah, too good, mate. An amazing week. Yeah, I think we'd agree with that. I think the back-to-back, anyone say even two in a week is good, but if you can do back-to-back, that's very, very impressive. Chaz is in the chat as well, says hello all. And he says,
hey, Chaz.
Says, wish I was even single table and busted absolutely everything. Sometimes you can have those Sunday nights, can't you, Asa, where you just, you're out of everything early and kind of going, what exactly happened there?
Yeah, that was last night for me. Exactly the same.
Dear.
I was out, PLO was my favourite event by far, and I was out by 8:20. And I was out by 8:20 out of everything that I went in. And the latest I started was 7:30. It happens.
Oh dear.
It happens.
We've had good numbers actually the past nights. We had 74 in the 8 max last night. There was nearly 60 runners in the PLO on Friday night. Stefan Fisher won the PLO on Friday night for the APAT game. And name so who won the 8 max last night, Des? Because I don't post those results up necessarily. So but I'm assuming it's the same person that we all would know. Neil Dawson.
No.
Ooh.
Neil Dawson.
Neil Dawson won.
Wow.
Well, certainly somebody by the name of Neil Dawson won with the 8 max last night, the APAT 8 max. Dwayne Porter was in second, and Sandy Drennan was in third.
Okay.
So a few blasts from the past there.
For sure.
So well done to all of those guys. So
I think having the tab helps. Sorry, having the APAT tab does definitely help.
We don't have the
on
APAT
there
tab,
as well.
do we?
Oh yeah.
Well, we have the drop down. You have the drop down.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you have the drop down where you can find APAT online, which is easier than having to type into the search.
Can you access that via the phone? In fact, I know this because I looked at it last night. So yes, you can see that easily via the phone. So that should remove any of those queries that were popping up from time to time with regards to finding the APAT games on a phone.
Yeah, exactly. But and obviously we are going to look to progress that on further and further in the coming weeks and months to try and make it even easier for people to find APAT games. That's the plan, and we'll see what we can do about getting the Belgian guys with a theme as well. See if we can get them to move that across as well. It'd be quite nice.
Yeah, Gunther's just mentioned it's on a B-Win.
Yeah,
B-Win,
so it's which is all owned by GVC. Although it's not GVC anymore. Des, we talked about this last week, isn't it? Or they've renamed it or are renaming it.
Yeah, it's Inactive or something along those lines.
Inactive.
Great name.
Quick. Find out if we can get inactive.com.
In masking or something.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Yeah, it'll take them a while to go through that. I don't know if they physically done it yet, but
it's really weird though, hasn't it? Because it's a rebranding that actually for most players would just means nothing, does it?
Well, it means nothing. It's completely corporate because, of course, GVC would be known for Party Poker, Ladbrokes, Coral, a Jarbet, some of those brands, as opposed to GVC, which isn't an operator. B-Win.
So it's a strange old thing the way a lot of things are going on at the moment. Is it just adds to what's been a very, very strange year, isn't it? What did I see? I saw a Twitter post up the other day from a player based in Malta, saying it's quite weird watching the Battle of Malta play out online on an online site that I can't get access to in Malta. And I thought actually that beautifully sums up 2020, doesn't it?
Just nailed it.
Yeah, that's the way everyone's had to just get on with these things and and do the necessary. One thing I thought of when we briefly talked football. I'll mention it now whilst I do remember. So I'd hate to forget it later on. Is so no, today I had the time to listen to Natalie Bromley's interview that we talked about when she was on the show
with Alistair.
With Alistair
Awesome.
Campbell. If you've not had a chance to listen to it, please do. Whether you're a football fan into your politics or just into good listening to good content, because when you've got a great guest that's very open and chatty, a brilliant host in Natalie, you put the two together and what you end up with is a golden hour's worth of listening. So I would strongly recommend, if you get the chance, it's the No Nay Never podcast. You'll go and find it on all different social media platforms.
No, it's fantastic, I have to say. And I really like how her website works, Lee. It's literally a single click and you're into the poddy. It's like there's no messing about downloading, finding different servers or any of that nonsense. It's like single click, you're in there. I think it's nonaynever.com or nonaynever.co.uk. But if you Google it, you will find it. And it is a great interview. Natalie does very, very well at that sort of stuff. She had Jordan North on, the guy who's being brave on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Happy place, Turf Moor, happy place, Turf Moor.
Oh my giddy aunt. And he was on Natalie's podcast maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, and he was great on there. And you see a completely different side of him now. But one thing is very clear: he is a big Burnley fan, and that's nice to see.
Yeah, I think it's nothing. I mean, Asa, you obviously big Man City fan for those that don't know, but there's nothing nicer than listening to somebody talk about their passion about their club. It doesn't really matter which club it is or who it is it?
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's some of the story. Obviously, I don't want to really go over the stories themselves, but some of the stories that Alistair was talking about, traveling to games, etc., was just outstanding.
His shoes.
Yeah, his shoes. Yeah,
the shoes story is just. I say won't spoil it for him, but the shoe story is brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Pretty golden, I will say. It's always nice when you have when you listen to something like that, and there's that one moment that will always stand out, and to me that is the moment. Yeah, it's just absolutely brilliant. I remember going.
I spoke to Natalie earlier on because she said she was really nervous about it, and she said, I'm not sure whether I could have gone into a bit more depth than some other interviewers would have done this. And I just went back to her and said, look, I said, you didn't need to go all Paxman on him. Yeah. It didn't need that. I said, you absolutely nailed it for getting what you want, what you wanted at and what people want to listen to. He's not on there to talk about, in depth about his, political career or anything else like that. It was about, love of Burnley and love of football and how that all came about. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Like some of the games I went to Main Road, always with my dad. Every single time was with my dad. I never missed a game. I never went without him. It was just me, me and my dad, maybe one of my brothers, maybe one of my cousins, but there was always me and my dad. And quite often we'd go in his works van, which had a open back. And there's a number of times where I had to lie down or sit in the open back all the way to the game, just because of how many people were going. And
how many people are going to see City play? Really?
This is when we were still getting 25,000.
A proper football club in the second division or something.
No, don't make me have to step in the middle between the two of you. All right, just play nicely. Yeah.
And there's one image which sticks in my head, and one memory it does.
Sky?
No. It was nice and straightforward. It was middle of winter, so it had snowed really heavily, and I was still sat in the back of the van, completely snowbound. So what do you do when you're bored? You were throwing snowballs at cars and stuff like that as you're going past. Of course, one hit a policeman in the face.
Wow.
Follow that van there, young man.
Luckily, no one noticed. No, he didn't know where it come from or anything like that. And we're talking, oh God, probably late 80s.
The goat. That was before the goat, wasn't it?
Be well before the goat.
Yeah.
This was this is the brother era, as I like to call it, which who we were sponsored by at the time.
The sponsor by, yeah. So.
Wow.
That was when we were hopping between divisions every other season, it seemed. They were the days.
No danger of that for a long time to come, Asa. But how do you feel? I mean, there's so much money being spent, and it's great that Pep signed a new contract, so he's with you for another 2 or 3 years, I believe.
Yep.
But 12 points from 24 thus far this season, despite the fact, you absolutely dominated Spurs last night. You had 22 shots to their 5, yet they run out 2-0 winners. How does he fix it?
You got Jose, didn't you?
We've definitely got Jose. I think 2 things are going to help us coming up. One is that we're going to have Aguero back soon. I think that will be a massive, massive help. I do like Jesus. I do like him as a player, but how many Agueros in this world are there? There's not many. And we have missed him so much.
What was he out with, Asa?
It's a muscle injury with his knee from memory, or his knee. He's had issues with it before.
A bit worried about a knee, right? I mean...
it's the same as he's had before as well, I believe. And the same knee.
Listen, we're getting some really good news on the internet. Apparently, Manchester police have just wrapped up an old unsolved crime. They've just closed the book on it. They'll be in touch, according to one Mr. John Murray. That actually makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Meanwhile, on the final table, Yanni's gone all in with ace 10 and has been called by Manuel's King Queen. And Yanni's hit a 10. He was ahead with the ace anyway. And we lose another player. We're down to 4 now. So Yanni adds to his stack. Just to give you an update on the poker squads situation. So Celtic Storm were out in front. They've only got 1 player left, just Brian Frew, who I'm assuming is...
He's in. I've got his table open. He's got quite a few chips.
I tell you what, Brian's made a few final tables in recent weeks, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's very, very consistent player. Good player.
Massively consistent.
So, but Brian's the only one left in. So currently, Celtic Storm are 20 points ahead of the Hit Squad. Now, the Hit Squad, I've got 3 players still going here.
Oh, I'm switching my allegiance to the Hit Squad there.
Our MVP that we think we pretty much it's going to be him. Donald Sloss is currently 8th in chips. The other 2 have got shorter stacks. Peter Monroe and Michael Lee. So they're 19th and 20th of the 23 players remaining, but they're going to add to their points tally, I think. And we can't yet say ABCD are out of the equation as well. They are about 80 points behind Celtic Storm at the moment, but they've still got Vince and Tom Clark, and they're both 9th and 10th at the moment.
Lee, it's hard. If I had if we had a Tic Tac man in here, he'd be talking about Hit Squad, wouldn't he? Shortening the odds. I think so.
Yeah, it feels like it's Hit Squads to lose. However, if Brian could go on and win this, then that would put a fair number of points on the board for them. Yeah, so I think Brian's got to really go out for a win. He's sitting 7th at the moment, and we know that Brian can quite easily go deep in these tournaments. So that's where we're at with that, as we're down to 4 at the moment in the roller. So the guys are now all guaranteed $130. Don't forget, it's still $500, just shy of $510 up top for the Sunday roller. For any guys that are listening that's had added value in the past 3 weeks, either you've won been in a team that's been top 2 in squads, or you've won an MVP, or you've claimed one of the 7 o'clock games wins there. Tickets went in today. For those this afternoon, apart from a couple of players that they couldn't find, who I'm going to message tomorrow morning just to get confirmation of your usernames. So if you think you've got them and you haven't, expect a message from me in the morning. But obviously next weekend, Des, is championship weekend again.
Yeah, nice medals.
That's rolled round quite quickly. So we got medals up for grabs next weekend.
Awesome. Good stuff. And I think we're likely to extend the schedule further still in the next few weeks, aren't we, Lee?
Yeah, I think that's the
Looking
plan.
at
We're
that.
looking to find, we're looking to see where we've got some options to put some other stuff in. Very much trying to keep with what we've already got in place. So talking about freeze outs, we're talking about keeping late reg, nice and short for players, and just finding those right spots where we can put some nice tournaments in, different to what party have already got in play as well. So, and hopefully we'll pick up some more players as well that might be new to APAT.
Fantastic. When do we start the open face Chinese, Lee?
Oh, that's very soon. Very soon.
That'll be in the year of the rabbit when you pull one out of a hat.
Yeah. Very soon. They're busy writing the code for it as we speak. Won't be long. Yeah.
Okay. Let's not say soon.
I'm not quite sure how they'd fit it onto the new table. I mean, it would ruin the new tables. I mean, yeah, we can't do that. So it's interesting. So when we're 4 left here now, Asa, it's kind of like, we're still talking, the difference between 4th place money and money up top, it's 4 times. Are you expecting somebody to kind of start applying some pressure here, or is it just going to be a case of still they all know what they're doing and they're just going to whittle it down? Just as I say that, as Yanni's winning with Ace Queen again, and bang,
yeah.
and it's
and now we're in the folding.
Yeah. So that's a double up for Charalampus from Greece, and at the expense of 4-handed Ace Queen versus Ace King kind of just does itself, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah, you're not doing anything else. It's very straightforward, especially with the greatest respect, especially against Yanni, because Yanni does play anything from anywhere. So, which is I do like about him. He is tricky to play against sometimes, but especially when he's short-handed and you get anything remotely decent, it's going in.
No, exactly. Completely agree. Shugs just said, how about moving the Thursday start time to 8 p.m. like the rest of the squads? We did move it to 8 when obviously in the UK there was the clap for the NHS every Thursday night, and I must admit we've just never changed it from 8 so quite happily look to get that put back to 8 o'clock. I actually quite like these 5 past the hour start times for tournaments. It just means if you're playing anything else and you're on a synced break, it means if the sync break goes over the hour, it means you're not already starting, so if you register for a tournament that starts 8 o'clock, it means you can sometimes get your break shorter than the 5 minutes. Am I making any sense there? I think so. So I do quite like that you're not having a start time on the hour for tournaments. I think that's actually a useful thing for players. Just makes a big difference for them, but we'll certainly do that. Gunther says, there's been a good boost in players in the last 2 weeks. I think we have seen an effect from the lockdown. I don't quite know what the lockdown situation is in other countries at the moment. I'm not sure. Let us know what's happening in Belgium. Be interested to know. But obviously in the UK or certainly in England, we're on lockdown till the 2nd of December. But I think Scotland are doing more again. I think that got announced the other day.
They've gone to they put a load in the tier 4, haven't they? So it's a lot stricter again. My mum finally cracked today. She got some of the grandkids round. She hasn't seen them for 4 months.
Oh wow!
So
okay.
they've just been they've literally been in isolation for the last 2.5 weeks.
It's very difficult for people. It's not it's not an easy situation, and I think also makes a massive difference when you're this time of the year when it's darker in the evenings and a bit colder, and you can't do as much outside as you normally would do. So I think people are finding a bit more of a struggle.
As long as to me, the key word is sensible. As long as you're sensible about what you actually do, I don't see any major problems. You don't want to have a party with 100 people like. Great Manchester Police are always tweeting out some of the incidents over the weekend, and you can see them 100 people at a party or people in the street collapsed and things like that.
Yeah,
but that's the same everywhere.
I firmly believe.
Does it? Yeah.
I firmly believe the biggest threat to lockdown is just people running out of series on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell are you going to do? I've got no more TV to watch.
So Asa and I were just saying before we come on live. So you were up till what time this morning, Asa?
10 to 4.
Okay. Do you know what he was doing till 10 to 4, Des? He was taking your advice.
Yep.
Oh, he was
Absolutely.
watching that chess thing, right? The Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, yeah. The Queen's
I do
Gambit,
remember seeing a comment from you on that, Asa.
Yeah. Started watching it just before 10 o'clock.
Great bit of content, right?
Oh, I say to Lee when you were on right at the start, it's really, really good, and I'm still not quite sure why. I haven't figured it out yet, but it just is. I have no interest in chess whatsoever, none at all.
Absolutely.
I
remember, guys. I was sorry, Ace. I was going to say it's a 2-for-1 deal, right? If you do watch the Queen's Gambit, that's only part of the deal. In watching it, you then have to go on and play Matt Dale in a game of chess at chess.com. It's obligatory. Yeah. You just have to do that after you've watched that series.
I warn you though, I mean, just because if Matt says play for money, I mean, Matt is got a rating of 1,050. All right.
Should I mention Tom Clark's? Because I saw that.
Yeah.
1,500.
So Matt thought 1,050 wasn't bad until he found out what the ratings were.
Yannis just had a big double up as well. Ace is into Queen Jack.
Very nice for him.
Yeah,
so Rob Needham's in the chat, says, evening all, APAT tables are looking awesome. Thanks very much, Rob. Hope you're going well. Don't forget, guys, if you've not been out and bought Rob's book yet, what have you been doing? Seriously, get and buy a bit of online shopping and get yourself some Christmas presents for everybody. I mean, buy a copy for everyone. So family, friends.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Well worth a read.
Listen, if you want to learn how to cheat at poker, this is the book for you. Get out there and get it. It's good. It's for no other reason. It'll teach you how to cheat. And
I will be honest.
Those X-ray glasses that kids always thought about when they were about 7.
I will be honest. I won 2 of the books in the giveaway. I'm not Robert out.
You did, didn't you? Yes.
Yeah. They both arrived on Monday, and I'd read them both by Monday evening, and they are simply fantastic. The characters are so good, and yeah, it does help if you have a little bit of poker knowledge, but it's not a necessity. But for us guys, everyone who's listening, it is just really, really good.
I'll tell you what, Rob has to be congratulated for staying away from, Hollywood hands, hasn't he? He sort of narrated the hands in a very sensible, credible way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, the hands that they talk about, I can actually kind of put myself in them and think, yeah, I understand the thinking and the meaning behind the other people. Obviously, if you can see what's going on, a little bit different. But I can understand the process and the thought processes of other people. So,
and for anybody who's sort of missed out on the story of these books, these aren't, learn to play poker books. They're not that sort of book. They're fiction with, proper story and narrative and characters and all of that good stuff. It's just that the story is set in the world of poker. And, the thing that hit me on reading them was that it felt like a very GUKPT stroke Grosvenor Casinos type story. You could absolutely see it being set in that type of sort of environment.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There was certain points where I was thinking, yeah, I could put myself in this casino because I've been there, sort of thing. It is really, really good. And obviously there is one specific moment that made me really laugh out loud. And that is the introduction of Shirley.
Yes.
Shirley, grab 'em, Cole.
I will not, obviously we will not mention why, but that obviously knowing Shirley did make me laugh.
Tony's all in with Queen 4, and it's Kings for Rob. There's a 4 out there, which means a few bits and pieces to avoid. But Unfortunately, Tony doesn't hit. Rob Swindells wins that hand, so we lose Tony in 4th place, and Rob just goes into a slight chip lead now, as we are now playing 3-handed.
Is this one of the situations? I know there's been plenty of people talking about 3-handed. You aim for the short stack, but because the top 2 stacks are so close, it's going to be quite tricky to play against, I think. And Yanni's not that far behind.
Yeah, it doesn't work, does it? Really, in the kind of what we've talked about in the past of. We've always, for anyone that's maybe not heard us talk about it before, it's this: when you're 3-handed, is the chip leader often going after the middle stack and leaving the short stack alone, to try and basically you're really going for the win then by trying to actually maximize your potential to win the tournament, rather than just trying to bust the next player and ladder and then leave yourself with a more balanced heads up game. But you're right, Asa, it doesn't at the moment, the way the stack sizes are, it's not quite gonna work here for them. But the thing is, the guys are still deep. I mean, average stack is still 32 bigs, so we're not in a situation of shove or fold here, are we?
No, there's plenty of wiggle room. There's plenty of play. You can 3-bet fold, I think, still quite comfortably if you need to. It's about just getting that a little bit lucky now, I think. I reckon Yanni's got an ace here. Just strangely, I don't know why. Just random guess.
He was on the big blind, wasn't he? So
yeah.
I mean, that's a huge bet from. Well, it's not a huge bet compared to the pot, but actually compared to their stack sizes remaining, it's a fairly big bet.
You could, and the thing is, you could have an ace there and fold on the river.
Yeah. No, exactly. Rob says, glad you enjoyed the Mesa in the chat. He's going to see if he can get some infrared chess tables next. Excellent stuff. And Gunther said, yeah, we're there. So in Belgium, they're in second lockdown. Not as strict as the first one. And yeah, he agrees with a good series on Netflix. Yeah, gets you really in there. I must admit. So yeah, you don't need to be a chess fan to follow Queen's Gambit.
No,
that
it is. I no, even think about it now. I still have no idea why it's so good. Not a clue. It just is.
I think when you get something like that, I do think it's the kind of the not fairy tale stories, but the kind of the stories from kind of nowhere to the top of their game. It doesn't actually really matter what the industry is or what it is. It's actually it's a fascinating story, isn't it?
Yeah.
As Rob reshoves all in there and gets that one through.
And I think we, as a subset of viewers, are particularly competitive, right? We love competition, and the thought of sitting down as the rank outsider and actually, getting on and winning, that's in our makeup, right? That's in our DNA. We wouldn't be playing poker if we didn't have that.
Yeah. And a couple of things I saw on responses from people on Twitter, and interesting what you both think about this was this kind of line of, okay, Netflix, let's have a Queen's Gambit for poker, please.
Saw that,
yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think that is, or do we feel that kind of the story's sort of been done there, or would there be a possibility of running some sort of twist on it with a poker background?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I could absolutely see it. I mean, I thought that it's just such a great little idea for as we see in here, Yanni.
Ace King.
He's looking good. There we go.
Going to get a double up through Rob.
But I thought a really interesting way to approach it would be, you just start on a kid, maybe 12, 13, whatever, and the kid walks out of their house and has an Uber waiting for them to take them to school and all of that sort of stuff. And you're left with the intrigue of, where's this money coming from? How is the kid able to have a credit card and, get taxis and all of that? And, the kid sort of ends up in a shed after school or something on a laptop, which, of course, for all sorts of legal reasons would be incredibly wrong. But what an interesting story it could be. Simon might be able to propose a candidate to base it on.
Yeah. The reality of it is, exactly. Yeah. The reality of it is that, there's been plenty of stories of people that, have been were playing online poker under the age of 18 and going under the radar for a long, long time. Back in the kind of early, 2000s and when the kind of poker boom hit, and sites weren't necessarily paying a huge amount of attention to it. And there's some big players now who have earned significant amount of money over there, which effectively it's fairly common knowledge that they were playing, when they were effectively with illegal accounts at the time because they were underage.
Yeah.
It would be it would be definitely a fascinating story to do. I do like that. There's been some good poker stuff, which it's been more documentary stuff really than actually necessarily. You haven't had that much poker fiction on TV or Hollywood itself. I mean, obviously Rounders, everybody knows. There was talk about Rounders 2, but that never really happened. You had a close thing with the book that was. What was it? It was Bringing Down the House that got turned into 21, that was more about the kind of blackjack kind of counting, MIT counting groups, wasn't it? Really, than necessarily poker as such. I quite enjoyed Molly's game.
I didn't see the movie, I have to say, but as long as the producer just stays away from the temptation to feature spectacular hands, that shouldn't be what the story is about. Yes, you can have one or two, of course, but the danger is that, you just get these crazy hands. And we saw quite a few of them in Rounders, actually. But Rounders is a good example of a sort of poker movie that, poker was just part of. So it feels, looking back, that it was all about poker, but actually, it was about a young guy in debt, right? And the only way that he saw his way out was through poker. So poker was secondary.
I think that's what you want. You can't have a film which is just about poker and the hands. Obviously, you've got the situations, but if it hasn't got a more of a rounded story, which I think is why Rob's books are as good as as good as they are, because it's more than just about the poker. You've got to build it round, and ultimately it's a hard sell just to sell it. Oh, that we've got a film that's just about poker. Well, that's not really going to work. And I think that's why The Queen's Gambit actually works, because it's about chess and it's about the build up, of kind of working a way through kind of a life in chess. But actually, there's so much more to it.
It's about an orphan, isn't it, who goes through a dysfunctional life to succeed. I mean, that's the story. The chess is just a tool that she used to succeed. But it just shows determination of somebody who's had that tough start in life. I think that was very much part of the success of it.
Yeah. No, completely.
With some interesting characters. I mean, the guy in the basement is fantastic.
Oh, what a brilliant!
Those early scenes are just superb, aren't they?
Yeah.
His quiet sort of acceptance that actually she could sit there and quickly surpass him. It's just the way he accepted that was fantastic. So quietly, amazing stuff.
Oh, Des, we've got the gauntlet laid. We might need to be kind of finding some live stream for this. This is going to be like the APAT chess feud equivalent of Dean Eggs. This is all going to kick off. Brian Fruit says he'll give Matt a game.
Fantastic.
And then he just lays it out there and says, when I played chess, my grade was about 1500, which means it was more than that. You know,
1700.
Yeah. And then he throws out there just to say, one time he was El Presidente of Bolton Chess League.
Love it.
Bolton Chess League. I mean,
how
does it get any better than that?
How do you think would they pronounce El Presidente in Bolton? Come on, Asa, give us a shot. You would be able to give us a shot at this. Come on. Don't worry about your friendships.
They wouldn't even bother.
El Presidente. Come on.
I'm actually curious though. I mean, I generally don't know with the world of chess, but do they? I mean, in the same way we obviously know there's poker streaming and we do the APAT show.
Oh, there's chess streaming.
I'm assuming there is chess streaming. I presume
on Twitch. It's quite big.
Is it really? Okay.
Yep.
Boring as hell. Boring as hell. Stream goes on for about 6 hours. Not joking.
But I'd imagine they'll be talking around, very similar to how poker stream as well, about the reasons why they're doing what they're doing.
Well, I saw something last week about a tour with like 1.5 million in prize money. So that's it's there. You just don't hear of it. They have an awareness problem. And I guess, if you go back to the 60s and 70s, maybe even the 80s, I don't know, but chess almost certainly had, far too much awareness for, probably the number of players who played the game. I don't know if that's factual or not, but it was extremely well known, right? I do remember chess was being covered all the time. And you would see stuff in the newspapers with hands and movements and all of that sort of stuff. But today, there's no awareness at all, it would seem, outside of perhaps the fraternity.
How different do you think chess actually is to poker? Because obviously we're all in poker. We're all, it's a game which we all love, and we've all been playing for some decades now. Others less, but it's a game which we all love. So I always sometimes think you need to step out of that to go, well, actually, is it that big deal when you're in that poker? I feel that chess probably isn't that much different than the poker kind of industry is. When you're in it, that's fine, but actually to the outside world, it's just a game that people play.
Crazy place. Yeah, I think that's the way it came across a little bit in that Queen's Gambit, right? So, I didn't imagine there were tons of tournaments going on, where people would rock up to a hotel and, there'd be a draw and they'd have to sit at a table and away they go, like poker, as it were. But of course, it makes absolute sense that was happening. I don't know why I always envisaged that chess would be more like, international boxing matches where it would be one person against another and they'd turn up at a venue and, it would just be two people taking part. Not the case at all. So
there seem to be
more
groupies in chess than there are in poker.
Well, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Do you not think?
Well, based on that program, yes. But today,
do you think there's people they walk into a casino and they go, look.
It's tighty.
Pete Wigglesworth over there. Look. Yeah.
The weird thing is, like,
I 5-3 offsuit.
Yeah.
I really remember the sort of when it was Nigel Shaw and Gary Kasparov playing. I remember all the press.
Yeah, crikey, there's it. Yeah, wow.
I remember all the press coverage about that, and I remember how much people were talking about it. It was on the news every night. He's won the game or he's drawn the game. Whatever. Now, nothing. To my eyes, anyway.
Yeah. John Murray says, I'd say there's a lot more awareness of chess than poker.
Interesting. That's could well be.
That's the case.
I just, John, I remember back in the day, if you go back, crikey, probably at least 20 years. But I remember you could pick up a newspaper. Of course, back in those days, people picked up newspapers, right? They don't do that today in as much volume. But, you would see chess columns and you would hear about big matches. I remember that back 20 years ago. You would hear about big games, the Russian against the American. That was still very much the thing. But I don't recall hearing any of those things in recent years. But that is not to say that chess doesn't have a huge circle. I would have thought that the skill level involved in chess, to do well at chess, right, you've got to know your stuff, right? Whereas to do well at poker, sometimes you can just bluff it. No pun intended.
Yeah, I'm just watching a replay of the last hand, which I'm assuming the one you were commenting out there as well, with Yanni doubling up through. I think it was a double up through as Rob's all in with ace-4 against the 5s. And whoa, what a turn!
Blimey.
What a turn! So he's flopped his ace,
Blimey.
but has also come up against a set of 5s, and then turns a straight, and Rob gets a double up, and they're back reasonably level again. Not a huge amount in it.
Oh, they're off again.
And they're all in again at the races. A lot to avoid here. And Rob does avoid the lot and is going to go into a chip lead now, leaving Charalampus from Greece with pretty much 3 bigs, and it's all gone in this hand. I guess Rob's got to make a call here, really, for 74,000.
Probably got 7 deuce.
Bigs. No, he's folded.
Or maybe he's thinking, I need to now attack Yanni. Well, now you are in that situation.
That's the interesting thing. We very much are in that situation. And he's now thinking, do I actually want to do that, or do I hang fire? For what was it, 2 and a bit big. So he's got it all in this time. King Jack against King 7. Just need to avoid the 7, and we're going to be down to a heads up.
There we go.
Which we are.
This could be very short and sweet.
Well, Yanni. Well, they can both be quite aggressive, can't they, in their games? So they could easily be getting their chips in here. Well played to Charalampus. He picks up $218. These guys now are guaranteed $340, and it's 5-10 up top. Whilst the players want to break, I was just give a quick update on where we are with squads. We're down to 16 players now, paying top 12. Brian Frew is still in for Celtic Storm. Hit Squad have now got 2 players left in Donald Sloss and Michael Lee. The difference between the 2 teams now is 4 points at the moment. Celtic Storm have got Brian in, and it's Donald and Mike Lee for Hit Squad. ABCD, they lost Tom Clark, so they've only got Vince left. They're about 80 points further off, so Vince would need to probably win it and hope the others bust early if they want to try and sneak in here. But we're down to 16 players anyway. Chip leader is Martin Motlock from the Czech Republic at the moment, and Gaz Howard is second in chips.
Yeah, Donald and Mike are quite low, I was going to say.
Yeah, so it could swing again yet, this.
Yeah, I think Gaz is taking, because obviously Gaz is on my team.
Here we go.
He is taking advantage.
Oh, blimey, look at this. Look at those hearts.
Needs a heart or a king.
Wow.
And doesn't get there. And so Yanni doubles up.
Yeah, I've had Gaz's table open for most of the night, and he has been taking advantage of people who are trying to go as deep as possible in the squads.
But we all know that if even if there was only one player left in this tournament and it was Gaz, he would actually finish second.
Absolutely.
Gaz doesn't win. Gaz doesn't win Poker Squads tournament. He's been trying for 8 months. It just doesn't happen for him.
I was going to say, we decided at the start of this week, because we've never done it before. We've actually decided whoever was actually the lowest scorer for the week would drop out, and Phil will come back in next week. And the 2 lowest as of this morning were Danny and Gareth, and they're both still in. Yeah,
so that could all change. Purple Ackies do that. The guys have done that for most of the time, actually.
I will say that
they brutal when they were winning it, and it was like, right, sorry, you got the lowest of the four, you're out for next week. It's very hard.
I was on the deep stat table with Andy and Dan before, and
all in the call, and it's the other way around this time. Ace 6.
Oh, it's the king.
Yanni's hit his king.
Wow.
Oh, unlucky Rob. When it goes the other way round, unfortunately, Yanni's hit, and that is going to be that done. Yanni finishes first. The Ilfracombe's finest picks up $510, sorry, for winning the Sunday roller this week. Well played to Rob. Rob Swindell's in second, $341, and Cheryl Olympus from Greece, $218, sorry, for third place. And that's that one done. So we can now focus in on the squads, which has got 15 players left, so 2 tables.
Okay.
And Andrew Jones is now our chip leader. So, Mr. Rhubarb.
She's putting some pressure on Andy at the moment. Yeah, I've had both tables open for a while because I've got Danny on one and Gaz on the other, and just watch. And also railing, trying to rail Phil to the MVP, but he ain't going to win that now. Seeing as Donald's still going.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much going. I'm just trying to work out whether it's going to be. Let's see. Donald's got 40, so 120. It's still not mathematically over. Okay. Donald's going to need a few more bust outs yet before it becomes mathematically over. But Yanni's in the chat. Thank you all. Yeah, no, well played, Yanni. Played that very well.
Yeah, great game,
Yanni. And very consistent player in all the APAT games, also being locked down. And Rob says, well played, Yanni. Was listening to Ace describe Yanni. He had a hand every time.
Sometimes you have a hand.
Yeah. So Gunther says, yeah, we've upgraded our team to 6 players with the same rules. Last 2 are out. The next one. Oh, goodness me. That is brutal. Wow. To say the least. Yeah, that is pretty harsh.
I know, thankfully, I'm safe because I was slightly ahead of Don, and Don went out about the same time as me. So thankfully, I've got another week in me.
Oh, that's all right.
I'm just hoping for one of these 2 guys to win.
Yeah, it would be nice. I think, as we often say on here, Asa, it's great if you can go deep yourself, but there's actually the next best thing is railing a couple of your teammates to a bit of cash. It's always nice.
Yeah, literally all week. That's what the guys have been doing. With all, each and every one of us. We all do rail each other, and it can be about tournaments away from APAT as well. It can be other tournaments. We've been railing Danny a couple of times in some of the tournaments he's been playing, where he's got massive chip stacks and then wait for him to blow it all up.
What, Danny Strange?
Yeah, and then blow it all up.
What, chips? Yeah. I was going to say, yeah. Like, wow, okay, yeah.
Oh, there's been times where we've gone to he's gone to like a fifth break or something. He's chip leader with 30 left, and then we get a message 10 minutes later. Yeah, I'm out, lads. Just pretty normal for him.
But there is generally nothing nicer. Whether it's when you're having a deep run online, and I can think back to tournaments I played over the years. When you sat playing online, sometimes it is kind of a little bit, not lonely makes it sound a bit, but it's, I mean, you're on your own and you're kind of playing and you're trying to concentrate, and actually just knowing you've got some guys there railing you, or someone's in a chat, on whether it's on WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger or whatever, and it's just, even just talking about hands that you've just played, and you've got someone to kind of say, oh yeah, well I did that, or I had that, or I played that, or I did that. I think it does a lot to kind of focus your mind on what you're doing. Otherwise it can be a little bit, well, no one's watching, I can just do what I get on with it and not worry about it.
Like Gaz is a PLO beginner. He's still not sure about what he's doing, but the difference between, say, 6-8 weeks ago, Gaz thinking on PLO hands, and now he's worryingly for quite a few people. I think he's starting to get what the profitable ways of playing hands are, and once he gets that, he's going to be quite scary, I think. And
he's obviously a very good Holden player.
Yeah, definitely. And PLO8, he's open. He hasn't got a clue still. But with PLO, he is starting to really pick up when to squeeze, when to call. Just the little things, And the great thing is, even in our team, we have like Danny and myself, who both play PLO completely differently. We are literally like fire and water with our PLO strategy. So there's different ways we can, we think about hands and how to get the best out of hands.
But even the best players with when it comes to Omaha, again, I saw a Twitter post earlier on the week from somebody that said, who's a reasonably well-known player, said, just broken my record for the longest time of playing a PLO tournament without realizing it was PLO8 was an hour and 45 minutes. It's just like, which is just like, that's quite scary, but it can easily done if you're multi-tabling and just clicking buttons. But
yeah, absolutely. It's our guys, we do love playing PLO8, and some of the chats we have about what people are doing and why they're doing it, or even sometimes the berating of what they're doing is quite interesting, because so many people, like, I'm a big proponent of not overplaying ace-2. In my eyes, so many people overplay ace-2 as in their starting hand, where I love playing ace-3 or 2-3. Just you get a flop, it's ace high, it's ace high, or you get a flop with a 2 on it straight away. You're ahead of their range, and you can put pressure on them.
Yeah, and you get a couple of chances to play PLO8 with APAT, which is always a good place to play, in my view, because it's played seriously. The guys that play it do take it seriously. But whether it's the squads game on a Tuesday for $5.50, or you play the 7 o'clock game on a Monday for $10.50, which this week will be $33 because it's a championship medal event.
And not next week. Next weekend. Not this Monday, the following Monday.
Not this Monday, the following Monday. Yeah. Thank you, Asa. Then yeah, it's definitely a good place to give it a whirl and get to grips with the game. I just think it's more fun to play. I think they're more fun games. Yes, there's the variance maybe is a little bit higher, a bit more swingy at times, but that's it. Phil Coles has just said hated PLO8 before squads, favorite poker format now. So it's nice to know. And of course, it's so many players when we where, do you remember when we used to play live poker? Do you remember that? We all used to get together. I don't know whether it happened.
Explain that.
Definitely
Describe
happened.
it.
The memories have folded. Memories have gone.
There were these big buildings that had loads of poker tables in them, and everyone got together. And
buildings.
There were these guys that sat at the table, and they actually dealt. I mean, crazy. They dealt the cards for you, Des. Like, when you've got physical cards. As Martin's all in with queens, and Christopher's got ace king, and he's not going to hit, so we're going to lose Christoph. Yeah, but obviously players like the variants, and that was one of the great things that we were able to do live, and we will get to do again at some point. But in the meantime, if you can play a little bit of the PLO8. Still the stud game on a Thursday night, Des. It's the biggest
game on Party, I've heard, Lee.
The biggest stud game on Party on a Thursday night at 7:00. It absolutely still gets 40 to 50 runners normally every week. Well worth playing. It's playing something a little bit different, isn't it? Rather than just the same two cards.
That's actually a really good field for that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Considering, imagine if we told people about it. Party, that is. That it actually existed. Yes. Yeah, but it's but there's a couple of things that we run. So the Tuesday night heads up. There's not really a daily heads up game. They don't put heads up tournaments on, whereas we put one on every Tuesday, $10 buy-in, which is it's a great way to say again of improving your heads up game by playing a little bit of a tournament. Tell us again about this team poker thing.
Team poker.
Yeah. How does that work?
What as in poker squads team poker?
Yeah, that's the one. I'd forgotten the name. We are going to do more of this going forward. That I can tell you. It's going to be big.
Yes, that is the plan, and it's something which Party are keen on as well. To get more of the kind of the team structure with leaderboards and very similar to what we're doing at the moment with poker squads. A tournament a night. It might be that we extend that to more than a tournament a night, or other tournaments as well, to give you a chance to build points for your team. And I think what a lot of the squads are doing at the moment, Des, as Gunther just mentioned, and Ace has already mentioned, we know Purple Akisu is having these little squads whereby it might be a team of 4, but you might have 5 or 6 of you, and then you just chop in and chop out it's like
squad.
It's like a fantasy football kind of squad where you're dropping players in it, switching them in it each week depending on what they're doing, or whether they're available, or they're injured, or they've got family commitments or whatever, and you can just swap it in and out, and keeping it super flexible for players, because obviously we're very aware that that's what amateur players have got going on. It's more than just playing poker every night. They've got other commitments as well, so it's keeping it super flexible for players, but obviously keeping the added value as well, which is
I'd like to see a time when we can have the international events, international teams, so players can get effectively capped by their countries, and we can do all of that stuff online. So I think that's got to come at some point soon.
Very soon, hopefully. Yeah. That's the plan.
And that's when it can get really interesting, because maybe you get a way to earn your shirt for the international teams, like the WCOAP or whatever other international team events we might put on.
Yeah.
Fun.
If we've got the weekly structure that's working well, and then you've got the ability to kind of take that structure and put it into bigger international events, then I think it's a great flow for players, and they're used to playing these games where you're looking to maximize your points for your team, and obviously being aware of what other teams are doing as well. It's more, and a lot of the teams here already with poker squads do take it, take it seriously, and that they're looking to see what other teams are doing. I'll be honest with you, I made a mistake last night doing the update.
Did you?
I didn't want to make a big deal of it, but I was busy. So yesterday I said all the tickets got allocated today. Well, yesterday I was just organizing who'd won what, so I could send it all off to Party. And when I do that, just as Andrew Jones is all in with 10s against Queen Jack of Andy King, and Andy's hit, unless it's going to be club or a 10, which it isn't, then it's a double up for Andy King. Yeah, so I just go back through the spreadsheet. So I change the week back to the the previous couple of weeks, so I can just copy and paste the winners and just get them on a list and all that kind of thing. So I'd left it on week 32 last night accidentally. So I'd updated all the results and done my little updates, copy and paste, save things off and done whatever. And as I was doing it, I looked at it and went, oh, crikey, ABCD have done very well. And crikey, Tom Clark's looking like he could do MVP back to back. But I didn't give it much more of a thought than that, and just was, oh, well, anyway, update the 2 leaderboards and post the result up on Facebook. It was 30 seconds, I think it was. Got to be no more than 30 seconds. Ping, up comes a Facebook message from Shug. Lee, I think there's a problem. So as I'm busy replying to Shug, right?
Ping.
I'm busy replying to Shug. Ping, Brendan Byrne. Lee, there's a problem with them. So as I'm busy then replying to Brendan, that I've just said, ping, Frank Bailey. Yeah. So now there's no coincidence here that Frank, Brendan, and Shug are all part of the team that are currently top of the leaderboard at the moment.
No
so we know that the teams take it seriously, and so very quickly.
Tom Clark, no,
didn't get a word from anyone else. No,
send the seats quick.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's nice. And what's great about it is, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm normally pretty good with most of these things, but the community are brilliant because it does kind of self-police. People are fairly honest enough, and if there's a problem or there's an issue, it's easy just to flag it up, and it very quickly can get resolved. So that's what makes the APAT community so great, is everyone can just do their little bit when it needs doing. As Frank says in the chat, he says, yeah, Celtic Storm don't miss a thing. Definitely not. I did send them all I screen grabbed the 3 of them, their 3 messages all together, and I just sent them the picture back going, yeah, you guys don't hang about. Go
back to DEFCON 2, guys. We've got this.
Yeah, not an issue whatsoever. So we're down to 13 at the moment. We're playing hand for hand because it's we're on the money bubble because it's paying top 12 tonight. This is going to be tight, though, I think, at the moment, the way it's looking. Michael Lee for Hit Squad is currently 13th of the 13 players remaining. They've still got 2 in. So, as you said earlier on, Des, they're the ones probably with it all to lose here. But ultimately, if Michael goes next, then it's really going to be Donald Sloss against Brian Frew, and there's not going to be a huge amount of points between the 2 teams. So this is going to go right down to the wire. I'm guessing Vince is probably a little bit too far away, as these guys are still racking up points, and Vince is currently 12th of 13. Brian's in a nice position because he's sitting 2nd. So it could well be that he sees it out for Celtic Storm, but we will find out in the next hour or so, I think. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I've had both obviously I've got both tables open, and just seeing what some of the guys are doing and the pressure they're putting on each other is quite something. The amount of pressure that some teams are putting on, say for example Michael, both his blinds are facing all in last round, so they're not messing around. They are just trying to knock out each other and do as best as they can.
Yeah, difficulty is I get for the Hit Squad is Michael and Donald are sat next to each other.
Yeah.
As Michael goes all in from the this is on the other table, all in from the button, and Marcus Lentis makes the call with 5-3 of diamonds. He's up against ace-7. Michael Lee's got ace-7, and it looks like Michael is going to get a double up, which he does.
Yeah, I think Vinny was probably watching that and waiting for the outcome of the hand before he decided to fold.
Yeah, it's
would be my guess.
Yeah, it's difficult because obviously it's hand for hand anyway, and obviously it ends up then with chip stacks would count. But I suppose it's also making a difference whether you make the decision to actually make the shove or not, or I guess so. Because you will see the other hand play out, isn't it? It doesn't sit with the cards held, does it?
No.
Like you would normally get in a live scenario.
Yeah, it does make it tricky. This time, especially if you're trying to get that extra 2 or 3 points for your team, is so hard to do. People in TV events sometimes they follow instructions to the letter, and sometimes they completely ignore them. Danny was telling me a story about the team event in Nottingham, where they had 6 in quite late on day one. I think it was either 6 or 7. I can't quite remember. And then 2 or 3 of them got knocked out in the last sort of level. And, one of them was like, fold everything, they were told, fold everything. You got 30 bigs, just wait for day 2. And then got it in Queens versus Kings.
Yeah. So Vince has shoved, and the 2 blinds have both called. And I think they're going to check this all the way down. Yeah. Which they do. And Vince, didn't even see what Vince had. It was 8 and King 9. And we are going to lose Vince, unfortunately, which is very much going to mean, that's ABCD done for. So we are now in the money. So well done to the 12 of you remaining. And the 2 blinds have both called. I think they're going to check this all the way down. Oh, I'm hearing myself, whoever that is. Excellent.
Yeah, I had that as well for a minute.
Not sure whether that was Des or whether that was...
Strange system. That's all I can say.
Was it?
I've got a frozen control center at the moment. Now I know that sounds painful, but we're still operating as normal, I believe.
It's still live stream.
Yeah,
It can't be worse than was it last week? I think it might have been last week. We were due to go live. I think we were due to go live with Matt Pitt, weren't we? And your one of your alarms had gone off on one of your devices.
Oh, it's crazy.
Genuinely, you couldn't work out which device it was.
Detail.
This alarm was beeping. It was
These are first world problems, folks. First world problems. I think we're okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. But I can't actually. So we're gonna have an ugly exit tonight, I feel, but that's fine.
No, that'll be okay.
We'll crash out, as they say.
Won't be a problem whatsoever. So it'll be the start of what's going to be a crazy week. Got exciting week, Des.
Tomorrow night.
We don't want to say, we don't want to. I don't know whether we want to say. We can't say. I don't think we should say too much. But we're recording episode 6 of the Orbit tomorrow night, and it's gonna be a corker. It really
stand up, Lee. It's gonna be stand up. Bratish type behavior,
and we've always had a thing of we don't ever say who's on the show until we've got it recorded because we can't. But trust me, I cannot wait to get this episode recorded and edited and out for people to watch. It's going to be a great show. Robbie is super excited about it. He's been like all weekend. He's been kind of like I'm ready to go.
We've been trying to manage him, haven't we? We've been trying to just keep him calm. Oh, here we go.
Andrew Jones gets it in with the 9s. Obviously, it was all in. A bit more pre. And Sharon is going to win that with Queen 10, Sharon Taylor. So that's going to be Andrew Jones out in 12th place as we start whittling these down to get to this final table.
It is fair to say that all the chips are on this table. Looking at the other table, it's massive difference.
So Tom Banks got an early start tomorrow. So well done to Asa for stepping in. Oh no, we are very grateful to Asa. Tom, we are going to get you back on the show, my friend. I feel Tom Banks, who came on the show with Carey a little while back, I don't feel we've even got anywhere near to the Tom Banks finishing the Tom Banks stories that he has.
I'll tell you what, I suspect
the world in general.
I suspect Tom Banks might have some stories on the likes of Georgie Best, and there'll be a ton of others out there. So that could be a really interesting one. Let's do it.
Yeah. So Tom, definitely we're going to get you back on the show at some point for another chat.
Yeah, his first message to me ever was, "Were you named after Asa Hartford?" I was like, "Yeah." Oh, I know him.
Man City, right?
Yeah.
I think Tom knows pretty much everybody. It's incredible.
Oh, would you like my Martial stat? Now I'm thinking about
we haven't had the Martial stat. You promised me this Martial stat before we came on air, and I was like,
we'll save it up though.
Show. So, yeah.
Well, it only became relevant after Wednesday.
Only became relevant after Wednesday.
After Wednesday, okay. You'll understand. So, in 5 minutes of international football, Phil Foden has scored more goals than Martial has in 23 games.
Oh, wow.
What?
Wow.
Martial has scored once for France.
Wow.
in 23 games. I heard that. I was like, I had to check it because I didn't believe it. And then, yeah, it's true.
And if there's one thing we know about
is
young Phil Foden is just how prolific at scoring he can be on an
Oh, God,
international
absolutely.
weekend.
Especially in Iceland or Icelandic.
Offside, young man.
I think
Yes.
the trouble with Martial is he can sometimes score just ridiculous goals. I mean, like Henry-esque goals, and you go, this guy is just amazing. And then he'll just go missing for 3 games. And at some point, you've got to say, if you're going to, play up front for Man United, you've got to have a level of consistency. And I don't think he's necessarily got that through the middle, which is a shame. But at some point, you've got to say enough's enough. And we paid a lot of money for him as a teenager.
Are you happy with?
Never really done it.
Are you happy with what you've seen from Cavani so far, Lee?
Yeah, I think he's taken a while to kind of to get back up to kind of fitness. But everything I've seen so far, the guy's he's a Rolls Royce, isn't he? He's just got that kind of that aura about him. And I think if he can get a decent run of games, I think it will work very well. His movement is ridiculous. Just the runs that he makes, and there was, I think, when he came on Saturday night, one of the first balls went out wide, and he made like 3 or 4 different runs for the same cross.
Yeah.
It's just like that's insane. Whereas Martial just shrugs his shoulders and doesn't really kind of do it. So Tom Banks is going to leave us with the story about George Best. Over to you, Des.
Oh, there we go.
Over to you.
Oh, that was it.
Oh, so what? You want me to call this out? Is this it?
Yeah, go on. You're going to be
okay. So
here
we go from Banksy. Let me leave you with a story about Best. A good friend of mine is drop dead gorgeous. And while Best was in Hong Kong, he took a fancy to her and she slept with him. Many years later, she married a Man United fan. And when Best died, he went into meltdown. To this day, she's never told him. Oh. Would you want to be told, Asa? If your better half had, gone to bed with the goat, for example, would you want to know? Sean
Probably
Goater,
not.
if he'd been there with your better half, would you want to know?
No, definitely not.
That's great. That is a great story. Women are clearly a lot cooler about these things, because if that was a man, if it had been the other way around, he'd have told everyone.
Yes, I think that might be the case. This has all turned a bit flipped over here now, because we're 9 players left, and Brian Frew is the short stack of this 9, and Michael Lee and Donald Sloss are still both in. Brian's going to have to find a way of getting out of this, I think. Otherwise, it could be all over for Celtic Storm, and it could be hit squads for the week. So Rob Swindell says, Cavani reminds me when City signed Weah out of desperation.
That was desperation. Thank you.
Well, I was surprised PSG let Cavani go. It did seem a little bit strange. If they've got kind of aspirations to want to win things, having someone like that in your squad as a squad player, it can't be a bad thing. So I don't think I don't know whether it's desperation. I think Igalo last year was desperation. I'm not quite sure whether Cavani is, because as I say, he still kind of has that feel of, he's got plenty to give. Yes, he's not going to be the long-term future, but certainly, if you can't get the players that you want at the moment, or you don't want to pay over the odds for the players that you want at the moment, then ultimately there's worse players you can get. Just on the other table, Phil Coles has just doubled up through Michael Lee, I think it was. Yeah. So
King 10 versus Ace Queen.
Yeah, that now puts Michael as the short stack. So this is all going to be, the next couple of exits are going to affect how this squads plays out. I think next few exits I think will be critical.
And Gaz is still doing what he was doing, which is putting pressure on those that are desperate for points.
Yeah, I'm just going to have a quick look at the MVP situation and see whether it's now safe that it's going to be Donald's, because Phil Coles is still in and was 104 points behind going into this. Let's see where we're at now. Yes, it's still not mathematically done. It's not going to be mathematically done until so Donald Sloss needs seventh or higher, and then it doesn't matter.
Oh, we've 9 left, so 2 exits gets him there.
Whereas if Donald Sloss was to exit in 8th or 9th, then a win for Phil Coles would mean Phil Coles would take the MVP. So and Phil is on Donald's table, so
Donald's got half an average stack, so it's an interesting little position he finds himself in.
Wow, what a hand!
Back. What happened there?
So Sharon Taylor got 9s, Andy King had kings. It was a 6s. It was a 6 on the flop, and Sharon hits the 9 on the river.
Yeah, that happens.
Massive pot. At this point, that's a massive pot.
We're still hand for hand, but Andy's all in next hand, and Sharon's made the call from the button. Decision on the 2 blinds, which is Gaz Howard in the small blind and Brian Fruit in the big. Gaz is having a proper think about this, and they fold in the end. King Queen for Sharon, 3-4 for Andy Kingan.
Wow!
And he's hit 2 4s and a 3 for good measure.
Wow!
Yeah, she's thinking, why could that not have been the way it played out the Hatton before? Because that would have put Andy as a very big chip leader. But currently, it's Sharon who's doing that. And on we go. This is now say hand for hand for the final table. Yeah, that's right. Hand for the final table.
Well, Brian is in.
And it's ace-8 against 9-7. And
wow.
9 hits on the flop, but then Brian hits his ace and Brian gets a double up.
I'm not going to get,
the hit squad guys now are both 8th and 9th. The 9 players remaining.
And in the blinds. And in the blinds.
Yeah. And they've only got, what's it? Yeah, they're in the blinds against each other. I mean, to be honest, I'm not sure what the right play is here, to be honest, for them both.
That's the play.
Michael's gone all in. I can't see Donald calling. He's going to have to fold there.
That was your, as a teammate, that was all you can do there.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
You've got to keep yourself going.
But they've both got about 4 or 5 big blinds each, as we're just playing this hand for hand, waiting to get to this final table.
Shall we stick with this other table for the moment?
Yeah, we can just leave it on and we'll see. Well, Michael's all in again. Donald's folded from the small blind. Is Marcus going to call from the big blind? It's a third of his stack. No, he doesn't. See, it's quite easy here, Asa, to, if you can shove in the right spots, you can quite quickly build it. If you've got a short stack where you've only got 4 or 5 bigs, you can very quickly double that up, can't you?
Yeah, definitely. It's about picking your spots. I think most people are aware of. I don't mind playing short stacks, and I don't mind finding the spots. And it is about picking the right person at the right time. It's spots. It's a little bit more difficult when you're four-handed because you've literally got to go most of the time with any open pot.
Yeah,
I feel anyway.
Obviously, on the table with all the chips, Sharon Taylor, current chip leader, she's likely to call off anything, any kind of short raises, and pretty much is raising most hands at the moment. Just raised from the small blind into Gaz's big blind. Gaz folds very quickly. Michael Lee's all in again and gets called by Phil this time. It's 5s against ace 10. Michael's going to need to avoid an ace, a 10 or a king now. And the 10 on the river is going to means we're going to lose Michael Lee in 9th place. We're going to have our final table, and wow, this is going to be all up for grabs now with the team element of this.
Wow.
So we have our final table. We have a huge chip leader in Sharon Taylor with 3.3 million in chips. And this is now all about Brian Frew playing for Celtic Storm and Donald Sloss playing for Hit Squad. They've got, I say, reasonable small stacks. Obviously, Brian's just raised up a third of his stack into Andy King, who's reshoved all in. Brian's gone for it. Ace Jack against 8-6 of Andy Kingan. And it's a jack there for Brian. So Brian's going to knock Andy out, and that now gives Brian over 1 million in chips, which, as I say, it's up against Donald Sloss really for the team event. That does mean with Andy finishing in 8th, Donald Sloss has now got the 7th place finish, which means I'm pretty sure he's going to be guaranteed MVP now for the week.
3 final tables is astonishing.
Yeah, he's on 63, which means the difference now is 103, and he was 104 ahead. Yep. So well done to you, Donald. You're guaranteed MVP for the week. So that one's in the bag. Now, can he turn this around and get Hit Squad to the top of the team table as well? He's got some big stacks here that are all playing quite aggressive poker in Sharon, Gaz, and Phil Cole, really.
And they are none. Well, Phil has got a little something to play for because he'll want second now to lock up. But Gaz and Sharon won't really have anything to play for team wise.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
they'll just be going for it.
Yeah, if Hit Squad finish in the top, as Donald's all in, if Hit Squad finish in the top 2 of the team and Phil finishes second for the MVP, then he'll pick up a little bit of added value. Yeah. Ace 9 for Donald against the 9s of Martin. And he's going to need to hit an ace, and he doesn't get there. And we're going to lose Donald.
Well played, Donald.
Very well done this week, though, to you, sir. You are going to be MVP for the week. And just let those scores rattle through the leaderboard, and then I can confirm what Brian needs to do. Just to confirm the payouts here, 6 players left. So the guys have all got $25 locked up. It's $127 up top. So very nice for $5. Vince is in the chat. How you doing, Vince? Hope you are well.
Evening, Vince.
Evening, Vinny. You forgiving me yet?
Is there a story?
It's still ongoing?
Oh, no, we're talking the 8 game from God.
Oh, right.
4 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. I don't think he has, but you know.
Oh, he's got a short memory. He'll be fine.
To be honest, we do talk about it every time we see each other, but it's just good to have a laugh.
So Gaz says that he needs to win to get himself even on the day.
Thank you, Donald, and well done again.
Another orange call.
Vince does not forgive you.
No.
Oh, here we go.
So Brian's hit, and he's going to knock Marcus out. So Hit Squad are all done on 750.99 points. Celtic Storm currently are on 695. So they are about 55 points behind, but obviously Brian is still going strong. So he's going to need about 81 points, I think, to overtake. So he's going to need to. I think he's still going to need to ladder a couple of places here.
3rd or 4th, I reckon, just as a guess.
Yeah, I think 4th might do it for him. I think, but I don't think 5th would be enough.
Brian will know what to do. He's so experienced at these spots now. You know, he's so, you know, obviously I was away from a little bit from playing, but I kept in touch with who was doing what, and Brian's always up there every single week without fail. So consistent.
You just can imagine he's sat at home every time he wins a hand. The whistle comes out and gives himself a little victory tune.
That's right.
And then he carries on clicking buttons. I mean, that's exactly how I picture it. Yeah.
Listen, Lee, just to carry on a joke from last week, he sat there in his blue and red pajamas,
yeah.
feeling good about his chances. I
Matt
think
Pitt
so.
Style, yeah. Yeah.
Here we go. Stand up. But he's doing that on the tin whistle, right?
Oh, obviously, yeah. No other way to do it.
Not orchestral,
yeah.
it's tin whistle.
So Vince says he thinks Brian needs a fourth. So Vince has obviously run it through his spreadsheet and thinks it's a fourth. I would tend to agree with him, I think.
Oof.
Here we go.
And that's it.
Well, that's his fourth.
So Lucky Martin, nice hand, Sharon. Vince
No,
says, I logged in to listen to John. FFS. Oh, that's funny. That is funny right there.
So so with the fourth place that Brian's got locked up at the moment, that means Celtic Storm are 0.46 of a point ahead of Hit Squad now.
0.46.
So they're that's where they are now. They're currently ahead. So they're anything now is
stop the count. Stop the count.
Stop the count now. Exactly. Yeah. So very much now, this is going to be the four of these guys playing out for a win tonight.
Well done to the Celtic Crusaders, I think we'll call them.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody else can catch. Just looking to see whether anybody else can catch Hit Squad in second place. I don't think they can. Looking at the gap.
There's only Gareth left out of any other team, I think. So
yeah, so I don't.
And we were way behind.
Yeah, so Hit Squad are going to get second. Are going to get second place with obviously MVP for the week, Donald Sloss, which means I think potentially
Phil.
Yeah, just looking.
Phil has to be guaranteed.
Yeah. Because Brian and Shug are also both up there for MVP, as we're up there towards MVP as well. But obviously they can't. They've all going to win it for the team side. So I think Phil Coles is going to pick up a little bit of added value as well. He'll pick up one ticket, I think, because it'll move down. One of the tickets will move down. So I think Phil's got himself a ticket as well, which is perfect timing because next weekend is Championship weekend. So.
Well, Phil was quite naughty because I happen to know that yesterday was his wife's 40th, and he still managed to get on to play. Yeah, baked her a cake and everything.
Oh wow!
And he was saying, he said all week, I'm not playing Saturday, and he turns up and went fairly deep, I think, from memory, like yesterday.
So Gaz Howard has just messaged me to say, is today the day I take another podium and get a rub down tag in Facebook? Well,
absolutely,
Gaz. Yeah. To be honest, this could be a live rub down, Gaz. I mean, this could be the whole way forward. We're going to obviously I'd love Gaz to actually take down one of these squads events, but then it's not half as funny as when he doesn't. So But Brian is absolutely flying here now.
Well, he's got the confidence now of knowing that, you know, he's achieved his target and now he can just go for the win. And obviously having a massive chip lead means you could just absolutely go for it. Oh,
well, you can go for it and then yeah, and then you can just run rather well. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, just a tad. That was quite sick. But when, as we said before, when you're hot, you're hot. You just go for it.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with actually when they got it in there on a 8 Queen Jack. I mean, the Ace 9's a little bit of a a loose call, should we say? But hey, you get your chips in as that chip leader. It's easy to do, isn't it? When you've got Ace high, you think, well, I'll get it in there and see where I'm at.
Yeah, definitely. And to be fair, even if he lost the hand, he was still massive chip leader. So why not have a shot?
Yeah.
And exactly. Now he's got, he's got the other two guys. He's got double them combined.
Yeah, exactly. So Gunther says bye night. Also, cheers, Gunther. Thanks for joining us again on a Sunday night. Simon Lawler says dirty. Yeah, that was a good way of describing that last hand against Sharon. It was dirty.
I'm kind of interested to look in our Facebook group after this to see how the conversation has gone between Gaz and Phil. To see how much of a rub down we're giving each other.
What do you guys tend to do? I mean, obviously, you're in the same team, but it's just a lot of, I'm assuming it's a fair amount of banter, especially when you're not necessarily playing for the team side of it. You're actually they're both going for the win, aren't they, really? So it's
yeah, definitely. The most things we talk about is there's two parts to it. Is one, can you believe who called with this? Which is pretty standard. Yeah.
Oh, as we got Ace 10 versus Ace 10. This would be sick for either of them to go with this, but it might happen. Oh,
there it is.
Does. Oh, there it is. runner hearts.
Painful.
Phil Coles gets a double up through Brian. Did you switch the lever off for Brian, Des? Is that what happened?
Yeah, I did. Sorry, did you not want to finish it? The whole thing? Should we just go home?
Did you want to get it? You wanted to get it done before midnight? I thought.
Do you want me to tell you how the next 3 hands play out?
Yeah. Do you want to just flick that back for Brian so we can get this? We don't really want it to go to another break if we could help it.
There we go. I've just clicked that back into play.
Lovely. Thanks.
It's all good now.
Yeah. And watch it now, Aces versus Kings versus Queens or something stupid like that. It'd be amazing.
if it comes up anything like that, really, that we will never hear the end of it.
No.
We really won't. Oh dear, oh dear.
That'd be fantastic.
But Brian's still got massive chip lead here. So
yeah. The only other thing we really talk about is hands.
I got the production team in the background here, guys. I've just asked them, can we organise a win for Gaz? Oh, they're saying sorry. We can't do that. No,
it's as good as it's going to get, isn't it? Yeah. It's not happening. As Gaz is all in, it's been called by Phil. Ace Jack versus Ace 9. Gaz is going to need some help here. Wow. And he's not going to get it.
That took less time than I expected, I have to say.
Wow. Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. So we lose Gaz in 3rd place. Honestly, this guy has had so many seconds and thirds in Poker Squad. It's incredible. I might even graph it one day just because it would make a good reading.
Well played anyway, Gaz.
Yeah, well played, Gaz. He's picked up $62 for 3rd place. Said he needed he needed the first price to break even for the day, so it means he's about $60 down. But hey, he says he's retiring. I don't think that'll be the case.
Oh, how's his COVID gone? I think he'd had it last week.
Yeah.
So touch wood, he's out of it.
Yeah, he was out of it. I can't remember. It was either Monday or Tuesday this week.
Good.
All fine.
Good.
No issues.
And his better half she was having it a little bit tougher, I think. Is she okay too?
I believe so. Yeah, I don't think he's actually mentioned, or I must have missed it. But I've not heard anything bad. So
yeah, good.
That's only positive.
How's your bounty hunter going? Ace, are you still in that, or
I finished 7th.
Box that.
Okay, bubbled the final table.
A bit of cash though.
Yeah, it's decent enough, 7 or 8 or something like that, plus the bounties.
Well, for a dollar buy-in, yeah. So.
Yeah. Like I said, getting yourself into situations and having a bit of fun with the hands. Got it in with top pair on a board where I kind of knew he had aces. Just the way the hand went, and I knew I had a lot of outs and didn't hit any. Standard, really. But at that point, I'd take it all day.
Yeah. So Phil wins that last one before the break. Pair of queens. I think Brian had a pair of tens on that one. So
yep.
We're in 5-minute break. Yeah, it was King 10 and Queen 7. So they're fairly even now on stacks. So say 5-minute break. Gaz just posted up in the chat saying, yeah, fine, back at work.
Good.
Never bad, to be honest. Mrs. Struggle, but both have had a negative test onwards and upwards.
Excellent.
Frank says Brian's going for a first squads win.
Wow. Well, I tell you what, he's been here or hereabouts many times. So we won't have favourites in this one, but that's notable.
I will.
And good luck to the man.
This will be tough because I know both of these quite well.
Yeah, absolutely, and likewise.
Yeah.
And even if Phil is Mr. Anti-Liverpool, I still won't anti-Raylo here in this heads-up game.
Should also give a quick shout-out because Sharon finished 4th. Sharon Taylor was playing the first squads game tonight. So that was her first squads game.
Performance.
And Marcus Lentis that finished 6th. That was his first squads game as well. So
well done to you both.
Very, very well played. Gaz has now played 152 games and not won one.
That's a lot. That could be a record.
Who's counting?
How long
Gaz?
does that stretch back over?
Who's counting? Oh, since the start of lockdown. I think he had a bit of a break in between. So retired. He said he'd retired or something like that. I don't know whether that's true or not. So.
I think he meant he retried time and time.
Retried. That's what he meant. Retried. Just typoed. Yeah.
Yeah, we had quite a nice conversation.
I can't believe Brian's not won before, actually, because he's been super consistent. But I trust Frank. No, Frank will know that.
So we had quite a nice conversation a few weeks ago that we were all burnt out just from playing it all the time. So we decided as a group we just have a bit of a break and we come back refreshed and recharged. And the other guys started playing certainly more a couple of weeks ago. And
it's interesting, Asa, because I've said it from bear in mind we're now in November and these all started back in March and Des will back me up here. We never the intention of squads or even any of the APAT schedule was never for people to play every single night of the week. It was a case of putting something on so people had something to play. They could still chat with their mates and and have a bit of the kind of community feel about it, until we knew where we were going to be with the whole kind of lockdown and COVID thing. And it still amazes me that there are a number of players that, even just looking tonight. So this is Brian's 210th squads game tonight. And I want just another one I wanted to just give a quick shout out was because Nelly Gascoigne's, so she hit her 200th game this week as well. So and plays every night in one of the teams. So it's
Phil's just posted on the Phil's just posted on the table. He hasn't won one either. Wow. He hasn't won a squads game either. So someone's going to get the first.
Wow. That'll be quite nice. I'm trying to work out now. I think there is. So what are we up to now? We're up to 200.
Brendan says, lightweights, they're the same at the bar. Quite right. You tell them. Bloody lightweights.
That's what you want to hear, isn't it?
I do miss having a drink with everyone. It must be said. Must be said.
We are down to, I think it's, just check I am right with this, check my lists. I think there's only 2 that have still now got 100%.
Steve Healy. Steve Healy was my guess for one.
And Frank can't be too far away.
Yeah.
And Frank
Did you get the invite? Did you get the invite, Asa? You said you were missing the crew. Everybody in APAT, everybody. We're all going around to Frank's for Christmas dinner.
Awesome. Excellent.
He's not let Mrs. Bailey know yet, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine though, because she's really good. She's good about this kind of thing. It's never a problem. So
that's right. It's going to be the biggest turkey in Ireland since the guy from Westlife is Property Empire, since that imploded. Biggest turkey in Ireland. Can't wait. You got to bring your own booze though.
That's a great question, Simon Lawler. I don't actually know the answer. That's going to need a bit of a spreadsheet calculation, but I'm genuinely interested now to who's won the most tournaments. As this will be the 231st winner tonight. I don't know who's won the most. There must be people that have won multiple ones now, I'd imagine. I don't know how many it would be. I'd be interested where we think the line is for the
7
number of
tops.
I was going to say 5.
7.
I think 7. You reckon
7? I can think.
That's a full week of squads.
I can remember Scouse winning at least 4 or 5. I'm sure of it.
I know because he mixed it up a bit, didn't he?
Yeah, but he was very all or nothing. So, especially at the start, so he was winning a lot of the games. I seem to remember. I might be completely wrong. He might have won, but it's just the perception in my head is he has won quite a few. I think.
Yeah, Pete's saying 5. Frank is saying Mrs. B is a great cook. Everybody's welcome. So that's confirmed, guys. If you're listening to either the live stream or indeed the recording over the next couple of weeks,
anywhere in the world,
Dublin Airport, there'll be a bus waiting. Take you right to Frank's house. We're going to have barbecued turkey. It's going to be amazing.
I think all of us would pay quite a lot of money just to be able to do that.
I've never missed people as much. It's incredible, isn't it? It's incredible. Can't wait to get back to normality.
It has got to that stage where you're thinking, if there was an actual end post in sight, I think we'd all be a lot better. But I know there is obviously the vaccines, etc., but there's no actual end post in sight, and we're all going, come on.
Simon is saying, didn't Ireland have a turkey entrant in Eurovision? Well, listen, Simon, we've had many turkey entrants in Eurovision. Most of the time, they've always won. It's outrageous. Putting up the national debt every time. Could have hosted the following year.
Yeah, apparently it is outrageously expensive to do, isn't it?
I would imagine so, yeah.
Oh.
Crikey.
Not a bad flop, Mr. Coles, and not a bad river. Yeah, Phil's taking a nice lead now, so he's going to be looking to wrap this up soon, I think.
Oh, crikey, one double up, and it's about turn on the whole thing.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Early
I know. Just trying not to anti-Buckeye with them, to be honest.
Right, I've got an answer to the question.
Oh, my word. Already? You're a machine, Wiltshire. A machine.
He's amazing.
A quick little little bit of calculation, and we're there. So so what was it? So you thought 5, Des, and you thought it was 7, AC, yeah?
Oh, so it's going to be 6 then, isn't it?
The answer is 6. Yeah. The answer is 6. The answer is 6. So all you've got to do now is work out who is the player that has got 6 Poker Squads wins.
Well, I know what your answer is, Asa, and I mean, you could be right. In that you proffered.
I don't think you meant it. It is an APAT legend. Yeah, one of the greatest players of all time, APAT all time, I would say.
Wow, I'd have to.
They've been on the show. They've been on the show. It's not Scouse. No.
It's not Scouse. They've been on the show. It's almost like
have they been on the show more than once?
No, we've only had them on the show once.
Okay.
Who could that be?
It's not Tim Magnus. Rob Swindell's. Good guess. It's not Tim.
Because my guess was going to be Mr. Wigglesworth, but it's not him then because he's been on more than once.
No, I'm giving up.
Scouse has won 3. So,
Okay. Simon Lawler says Adelaide. Mr. Healy?
No, it's not. It's not Steve. No, he's actually.
Is it someone from that area?
Steve Healy's won 3. No, they're not. They're not from the Midlands. No.
We've got Dan Austin. We've got a Joe.
Northwest.
And there we have a winner. Rob Swindell's Dan Austin. 1-6.
Wow.
Wow. Dan, yes. so Dan's won 6. Vladimir Corbett, who plays regularly the PLO games.
Yeah.
He's won 5.
Wow.
Marion's won 4. Dean Pearson's won 4. Shane O'Connor's won 4. I don't think Shane's actually in a team. I'm not sure. Don't think he is in there.
I don't think he ever was he? No.
Yeah,
Andy Black. Is it sort of a dark?
Andy Black.
A dark yes,
yeah.
They're from Simon.
Actually, Andy Black's actually won 7. Yeah, no, you're right. Every Tuesday.
He's the host of Tuesday events.
Yeah. So, but there's a host of players that have won 3.
And it's over.
Shug's won 3.
It's over.
And that's that done.
Well done, Brian.
So, did you catch the last hand there whilst I was busy working through the
Brian had King 10, Phil had Jacks, 10-10 flop, and Phil wasn't folding.
He wasn't for folding.
No, well, Phil was betting into Brian, and Brian was obviously just going, yes, I call, and then shoved the river, which stack size-wise, Phil had to call.
I've just put the final sort of leaderboard up on the table there for the event. So you're just doing your final totting, Lee, is that right?
Yeah, I will just. Although we already know what the situation is, but I was just going to quickly rattle it through just so we can get it all confirmed. But we know that as far as the team event goes, it's going to be a win for Celtic Storm this week. Very well done to Brian, Shug, Frank and Brendan. They're going to take down that, and Hit Squad are going to finish in runners-up place. As funnily enough, I've just said Celtic, and Siri on my watch has started telling me what the weather's going to be like, which is just brilliant. Hit Squad finishing second, so well done to Rob, Donald, Michael, and to Peter as well. Gave it a good go there, guys, at the end. As far as the MVP for the week, fair play. Donald Sloth, very impressive. Back-to-back wins in the Mixed Max and the Six Max. So he finishes there. It was actually pretty close at the end there, but Phil Coles is going to pick up the added value as well, which will work down. I think it'll be 1 ticket by the time I work it all through. But Brian, Frew, and Shug also did very well in the MVP this week. So that's it. Game week 33.
Fantastic. Well, listen, Lee, thanks for totting that up. Well done to all of you guys who have won something with us this week, of which there are many of you. Hope you have a great week ahead, and we look forward to hosting you guys next weekend with the APAT Show on Sunday night at the usual time. It is a medal weekend, so it should be a great deal of fun. Final thanks must go to Asa for stepping in at the last minute and providing a thoroughly enjoyable evening of chat. So thank you, Asa.
No problem. Thank you very much.
And I think, guys, that is it from Lee and I. This is officially a wrap. I should say this is it from Lee, myself, and Andy Black. Andy is here with me. Andy, just get me a beer in the fridge, will you? Yeah, there we go. So Andy's just gone to get the beers in, as soon as the show's finished. We will see you next weekend. Between then and now, good luck in your poker, and have a great week. So thanks again, guys, and good luck.